Happy New Year and welcome to Tech Tool Monday, brought to you by Karen Schlosser. Yes, Monday, January 3rd, 3 days into the new year, and we are going to start with our why. That is today's program. Now, before we begin, you might notice there's a slightly different background. Yes, that's because I'm not in Cincinnati. I decided to hop on a plane and head to Florida for a little sand and sunshine. I've already gone for a walk this morning, and you might notice I'm dressed a little differently than I might normally be in Cincinnati, but I have one of my cycling jerseys on, and I'm gonna hop on my bike after this, ride a few miles, and enjoy the outdoors. So thank you for joining me today in this program titled Start the New Year with Why. Why is probably one of the most important things to drive our business as well as our lives. The premise of this program is based on a book. I'll share that with you in a moment. But the quote from the author is, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." If you don't know your why for real estate, hopefully you will have an idea of your why by the end of the program this morning. But if not, my goal is for you to have a why by the end of the day. I want you to think about, discover, determine, and then communicate your why, not only with yourself, but with others, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. For many, a new year conjures up thoughts of new beginnings, starting anew, refresh, hit the refresh button. People create new goals and plans, resolutions. This year I'm going to. That leads into new habits. All of that is with the intent of betterment. I ask myself two questions every day. They're logged into my calendar, so they come up every day on cue to ask myself, what can I do better? That's the first question that comes up. And how can I improve? Now, I scheduled that some years ago after I read the book, Start With Why, that I'm going to talk to you about today. And that is a book written by Simon Sinek. And the book spoke to me, what can I do better and how can I improve? It spoke to me in those words, so much so that I scheduled those into my calendar and they come up as reminders every day. I get the two questions twice a day. So my goal with doing that for myself is to improve me. And that also was one of the things that I'm looking to do. I'm not trying to compete with anybody else. I'm trying to compete with me, improve me. And that is part of discovering your why. When I read this book, it wasn't speaking to me as to how I could beat my competition. It was speaking to me as how can I improve upon me and myself in order to help others. So every one of us has a why. It's our deep-seated purpose, it's our cause, it's our belief, and it's the source of our passion and inspiration. Today, you may not know what yours is or how to express your why in words, but know that you have one. The first hint I'm going to give you about a why is it's not money. Money is a result of your why, how and what. but it's not your why. If you think your why is money, hit the refresh button, look a little deeper for your cause, your purpose, your belief. What gives you passion and inspiration? It's not the money, it's your why. So here's the book. There are two books that are connected to Simon Sinek that have the title Why in them. He's written other books, and I've read all of his books, but this was the inspiration for my program today. The first is Start with Why. I just finished the second round of Start with Why in the last 12 months. I have read Start with Why twice before, but I rediscovered it recently when I downloaded another book by Simon called The Infinite Game. And if you've read or if you have attended my Tech Tool Mondays in the past, you will note that I did a session on the infinite game. Because in Simon's analysis of business, the infinite game is what businesses are in, as opposed to a finite game. I loved his analogy of an infinite game versus a finite game because an infinite game is in fact what we're in real estate. It's not something that we're looking to start and stop at a specific time. We are intending to remain in real estate, and if our why is deep enough, we will not only be in real estate for longer than expected or longer than we may think, but we will also inspire others to be in real estate as well. So in his book, Start with Why, as well as Discover Your Why, he talks about the golden circle. And the golden circle has three components: why, how, and what. And he calls it the golden circle because it represents it embodies the essence of your being in business. You need a what? A product, a service, or your role at work is your what. Everyone knows what they do. In fact, that's one of the most frequently asked questions among human beings when they meet. One of the initial questions typically is, what do you do? What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? What's your hobbies? People want to know what you do. And so that question is pretty easy to answer. In our case, as a realtor, if someone asked you, what do you do? You might say, I'm a realtor. You might say, I help people buy and sell real estate. That's what you do. How you do it comprises your strengths, values, and your guiding principle. As a realtor, while you may do the same things as others, the way in which you deliver that service is unique. You are unique. You can borrow an idea from another realtor, like a marketing idea, a presentation idea, whatever, but your delivery of that is going to be unique. Your voice is unique. Your thought process is unique. But your how is your strengths, values, and your guiding principles. Your why, for many people, is hard to articulate, but it provides clear answers to the questions. Why do I get out of bed every morning? Why did I choose real estate? And why should anyone care? Why is your purpose, your cause, or your belief? I know if I gave you a moment to think about it, and maybe you'll do it right now, you'll think of someone, maybe someone infamous, famous, or just someone you know, who has a strong purpose, cause, or belief. And you could point and you could articulate what their why is. But for many of us, we don't think about our whys because we're thinking about our what's, what we do, and how we're going to do it. But we don't necessarily take the time to stop and think about why we do what we do. What's our passion? So naturally, people communicate from the outside in when you look at the golden circle. They first communicate what, then they communicate how, then they communicate why, if they even get to that. Most of us stay in the what and the how phase of our communications. A realtor might say, I've been in real estate for, fill in the blank, years, helping people buy and sell real estate. I've sold, fill in the blank, and have earned the, fill in the blank, award. Pick me, I'd love to help you. That's really your what? That's not why you do it. Now, you may think that's your why, but that's not really why you do it. That statement is all about what? People with the capacity to inspire others, those people all start with their why, which drives decision making by tapping into the part of the brain that influences behavior. So your brain, our brains, we're humans, this operates us. When we inspire others, it's because we're starting with why. That drives people's decision-making process. So when we look at the golden circle, which is the why, how, what, the concept of why is grounded in the tenets of biology. If you look at the cross-section of a human brain, it shows that the layout correlates with the three major components of why, how, and what. And those sections are the limbic brain and the neocortex. The limbic system, which are the two inner circles, are the I feel. It's responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior and decision making. Yet it has no capacity for language. How often do you hear, or even say yourself, I feel like this. I think it's the right thing. I feel it's the right thing to do. My gut is talking to me. That's your limbic system of your brain. Your neocortex is responsible for all that rational, analytical thought and language. And I got to tell you, I fall into that neocortex, or at least I feel I fall into the neocortex a lot, because I do think in terms of numbers, data, stats. I rationalize, I analyze. And so often you'll hear about the logical thinkers and the feeling thinkers. And that's where people may have a stronger brain in the neocortex section versus the limbic system. But at the end of the day, we all have the I feel and the I think. We all have feelings that drive our decision making. We rationalize our decision making with data, stats, and that analysis of data. But it's our feelings that are our decision making. So when we communicate from the outside in, and people understand vast amounts of complicated information like features, benefits, facts, and figures, they understand that when you're communicating from the outside in, but it doesn't inspire or drive human behavior. In fact, there are many examples when you think of marketing. Do market stats drive someone to choose you? The market stats you share may not drive them to choose you per se, but it is one of the elements of how they feel about you because of the information that you do provide. The limbic brain is the one that gets to the feelings. So how do you reach the limbic brain that drives human behavior? You reach it by communicating from the inside out, meaning you're going to communicate the why you do something before you communicate the how and the what. When you communicate from the inside out, you speak directly to the part of the brain that drives emotions, behavior, and decision making. Fact, and that includes us, that includes me, we choose products, services, and companies over another because of the way they make us feel. Think about it. The last car you purchased. Why did you buy that car? Was it the car that made you feel good? Or was it the features of the car that made you feel good? Or was it the person who sold you the car that made you feel good? Why do you frequent the restaurants that you frequent? Why do you go to the grocery store that you go to? How do you choose an online provider of services or products? Because of the way the website makes you feel? The way their customer support system makes you feel? We choose our products, services, and companies over another because of the way they make us feel. You can rationalize and say, no, I do it because of this. And generally, you will rationalize with their what or their how. But at the end of the day, it's how they make you feel. Take a negative situation. If somebody gives you bad service, will you frequent them again? Maybe. Maybe not. Depending on how bad the service was or where that bad service, what category that bad service fell into. If you think long enough, you will agree that how someone makes you feel is a determining factor of whether or not you're going to buy their product, their service from them. That holds true for realtors who are selling a service. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So, 2019, we had a leadership meeting, and in our leadership meeting at Comey, we had a hard conversation. And the hard conversation centered around, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Does it make sense to continue in that vein? We did an exercise that I would recommend everybody do, no matter how large or small you are, but we took stock, we took inventory, and we had every member of the leadership team identify in an Excel spreadsheet all of the things that they did and the services and or systems that their department or area of oversight offered. I think we ended up with over 200 items on this Excel spreadsheet. So you can imagine it was a pretty long spreadsheet. And then we went line by line by line, identifying what are the things we were going to continue doing, what are the things we're going to stop doing, what are the things that we're going to modify doing, And what are we going to do new? What are we going to, is there going to be something new that we're going to introduce into the system? But the underscore to that exercise was this message, which is our just cause. Our just cause is to empower our agents with the systems and skills to provide the most comprehensive level of professional real estate services to their clients and others. We meet on a weekly basis. In that meeting, we have a printed agenda. At the top of the agenda is this statement. When I open the meeting, I open by reading this statement. Not to be redundant, but to simply state out loud as a reminder to both myself and everybody on the team, what we're about to talk about needs to fall into this category, or it needs to fall into our cause. Because our just cause is to empower our agents with the systems and skills to provide the most comprehensive level of professional real estate services to their clients and others. What we do needs to begin with our why. This is our why. Everything we do is measured against this why. Likewise, I have a personal why. This personal why, as related to real estate, is stated as follows. And I want to thank Jason Curley, who I've been working with on a project, to thank him for inspiring me to reword my why. I wanted to get it a little more succinct. And Jason, thank you for your encouragement for me doing that. So here is my why. My determination is to guide others through the process of buying or selling real estate with ease, with information, and with confidence, so they are able to make an informed decision best for them. You will find my why on my LinkedIn page. You will find my why on other marketing messages that I've done. My why is the basis for what I do and how I do it. But I revisit my why on a frequent basis because I want to make sure that the actions that I take, whether I'm working with you as an agent, if I'm working with buyers or sellers that are my clients, or I'm interacting with agents, buyers and sellers, I want to make sure that I guide them through the process with ease, with information, and with confidence, so they are able to make an informed decision best for them. That is my why for real estate. It's why I do Tech Tool Mondays. It's why I do continuing education classes. It's why I write Tip from Karen. It's why I produce market stats and data for you to use. My why is to support others through the process of buying or selling real estate. So the goal for improvement for this new year is to have clarity of what your why is. What is your purpose, cause, or belief? To have the discipline of the how, your strengths, values, or guiding principles, and the consistency of what, which is the services that you offer, or your role. You may be a single agent, meaning you work independently. You might work on a team. You might be the team leader. You might be a member of the team. You might be support staff of a team. You might be support staff of a real estate company. What you do is absolutely important. How you do it is critical. But the most important part is understanding why you do it. What is your purpose, cause, or belief? So if we imagine this golden circle as a 3D model, it's really a top-down view of a cone. And the cone represents an organized system, and it's the best method of communication of everything. Your why, your how, and your what. Turned sideways, the cone becomes a megaphone. Using a megaphone, I'm sure you're all thinking loud. Loud is easy. Clear is harder. When everything you say and do echoes what you believe, you end up with a message that's both loud and clear. It can inspire people to work with you, refer you, and brings your why to life. Think about it. Why do you do what you do? Why did you choose real estate? Why do you continue choosing real estate as a career? What gets you up? Why do you get up in the morning? What inspires you? Think long and hard. Your why, how, what, it's the one competitive advantage that cannot be duplicated. Yes, you can borrow ideas from other people. People can borrow ideas from you, but you are unique. You are your own competitive advantage. And when you take the time and the opportunity to improve upon yourself, it only gets better. So my challenge to you today is take a moment or 2 or 3, discover your why. Develop your why into words and then communicate your why to others. The first step is discovery. The second is developing the words. And the third is to communicate your why to others. Where are you going to communicate that why? Well, as the quote at the bottom says, everything that touches the market is marketing. So thoughts. How about your seller counseling sessions? Or as we have called for years, listing presentations. I like seller counseling sessions, buyer counseling sessions, open houses, social media, postcards, email signatures. Shoot, I could put my why at the bottom of my email signature. You know what? I think I'm going to do that today. I'm going to add it to my email signature. What an easy thing for me to do, and it costs me nothing. Email messages, and what I mean by that, where do you put in your email message your why? Because your message might be market stats, but I would include your why. How about your e-newsletter? How about your handwritten notes, note cards? In fact, as I was putting together this presentation, I was thinking, you know what? I could even redevelop or reprint my note cards that I use, and I could put on the back my why, right above my name, my photo, and my contact information. How about pop-bys? Do your pop-bys, when you go visit somebody, do they reflect your why? And then, etc., etc., etc. I remember that line from The King and I love that line. But bear in mind, everything that touches the market is marketing. Conveying your why, embody your why in everything you do will make 2022 the best year for you. I want to thank you for joining me today. Start the new year with why. Your homework assignment is to discover your why, develop it into words, and communicate it in everything you do. I wish you the very best for 2022, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Tech Tool Monday, and I will be back in Cincinnati. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.